My dad had never done any speed skating. My mom had never done any speed skating. I followed a friend in.
He brought it to us because his buddy Luke Cody was skating, and he said he wanted to try, so what the heck.
We had a really good group of kids around us, and we always had a lot of fun and worked really hard.
In like Yellowknife's barn, right, the Jerry Murphy Arena with the old wood trusses and yeah, freezing cold in there.
I remember pretty vividly when the multiplex went up, mostly because it was so warm in there compared to the Yellowknife Arena.
For me, there was never really any other option than to go to the Olympic Oval in Calgary.
Well, I was coaching the National Training Center in Calgary when he joined our program.
John was like, okay, you can, like, it looks like you can stay with these guys. So, you know, I got to stay up in the top group at the Oval.
I mean, respect is probably one of the principles that Michael Gilday holds, you know, very dearly, and willingness to outwork the other guys, willingness to put in the time, not just on the ice, but outside of the ice, to think about what he was doing and how he was doing it.
Michael had raced all day, and then he would be watching video. His life was completely speed skating.
He is one of the most superstitious athletes I've ever worked with.
I don't call them superstitions, I always call them routines.
You could ask him about his hat. He had a ball cap that deteriorated in front of our eyes.
He must have got it in high school.
He would not take it off. He wore it to training every day.
I don't know, I'm a sportsman. A lot of people in sports, everybody has different superstitions, I guess.
Vancouver World Cup.
You know, it's super exciting because we're at the Pacific Coliseum. Big stadium, they had great crowds. Let's just have some fun with this, and I was able to control those nerves, trust myself, and execute.
That was the race he took out, or he beat Apollo Ono.
It was his first World Cup medal. I realized that I was working with one of the best athletes I was ever going to work with.
You know, I finished one spot out of the team. I had set everything on that. It's the home Olympics. I had managed to win one of the selection races, but it wasn't enough. So it was crushing.
The thought of another 4 years seemed super long because he wanted to represent his country on the Olympic team. That's what he wanted to do.
I don't think there was any moment where I'm like, I'm done. Learning to be part of a relay team was probably one of my favorite parts of the whole sport, or my whole sport experience. And yeah, we were able to win our first world title, and that was an amazing, amazing experience.
All of a sudden we realized that 4 years was going by, and it was the summer of 2013, and we were down in Montreal at the Olympic trials again.
In the lead up to Sochi, I had been a consistent member of the World Cup team. First race of that selection meet. In the final, I'm feeling good. Second place, I'm trying to chase down Charles Hamelin at the end. Fall. Another of my teammates, Charles Cormier, falls right into my head, concussion. I'm out for the trials. So I'm sitting there thinking, like, is that it? Like, am I done? But luckily for me, Speed Skate Canada determined that I was a valuable enough member to be added to the team, and I think a big part of that was my relay skating. I had trouble sleeping. I had trouble sleeping for the first 4 or 5 nights that were in the village, just because I was so excited. You want to go and do everything and see everything, but you have to remember you're there for a reason.
I don't think there was a better moment for me than to see him on the CBC live coverage of the opening ceremonies.
The memory that will always stick in my mind is from the opening ceremonies, and as we're just about to go into this, go up and into the stadium, I think it was Megan Duhamel, who's a figure skater, she stepped on my shoe and pulled it off, and I'm like reaching down to put my shoe back on right as we're going into the stadium, and like this huge moment where you hear like Canada, and I like that is going to be forever branded in my mind.
That's what he had wanted the whole time. He wanted to go to the Olympics for Canada, and there he was.
I would want to say thanks to him because he's been a huge inspiration to me. such a great example for other athletes. Me and my wife look at a guy like Michael Gilday as somebody that we want our girls to emulate.